Today is today is Wednesday, 11:24 p.m., August 21st. I got paid last week, and because I had to move into a new apartment, um, there was an extra expense I had to pay. Firstly, I had to close out my rent at the previous place that I was at. Now I'm at the new place, and I had to pay the rent for that place. And so I have essentially dwindled my account to nearly zero already. That means I have to wait approximately about a week and a half in order for me to purchase another challenge. That means within the next 1.5 weeks, I have to I have to at this point use a demo account, truly a demo account, and look for opportunities to be enhance my consistency. The other is to study as much as possible. So I heard from other professional day traders that they went through several cycles, many cycles, where they would save money and then they would go into the market and blow up the whole account and then go back to work and then save some money and then blow up the account and come back again like 3 or 4 times. So this is a normal process, and at a certain point where I completely consistent define my presence as a day trader of being consistent, then at that moment, then I become consistent. So when I become consistent, then uh, that is essentially the ultimate goal of my trading. But currently, right now, it's the market is giving me a taste of what these professional day traders who overcame these instances where their accounts are blown and then now they're recovering. So either I'm going to remain a statistics, part of the statistics of individuals who will never become profitable, or one of these days I will become profitable. One of these days. And that one of these days is not today. Okay, it's not. Whether it's internally driven, or it seems to me that other people are successful, but I'm not. So I'm trying to figure this out. So other people are successful. There's a way of doing it, and it's an ingredient that only those people who know how it's done is done that way. But for people like myself, who's 95% of individuals who are attempting to become successful, and I'm documenting this as much as possible. I'm documenting it so that whether I'm successful or not, it essentially is documented. And when at that moment when I become profitable, then I have documentation of these things that I've done to reflect upon, to say, hey, this is that is a point where I became aware of what the situation is and truly became profitable because of that uh, specific location in my journey. Otherwise, what will happen is, like, I mean, there are individuals who have their parents are their parents who apparently attempted to become profitable, but never became. And so this individual saw what was happening to their father, who was never successful and always kept losing money. Despite that fact, they were able to maintain their home and move forward with it. And so finally, this individual was able to figure out how to trade successfully in the market. So there will be individuals, I may be one of them, who become successful or who may not be successful until I'm 65 years old or 60 years old, but I'll keep trying. Uh, as my health and my as my health uh, endures, and as long as the opportunity is still there, right? That's the current situation. So I'm moving forward with it and going forward. What's currently happening is that, my own children, they say, well, trading is really trading is really not a day trading is really not a enviable occupation because it's really not a job. Okay, it's really not. And so they believe that what I'm doing really is not is something it's not something that is legitimate. It's not it's not an occupation. It's not an occupation that is uh it's not an occupation that is legitimate, okay? And so I can see that from other people as well that I work with and everybody around, and trying to and still moving forward with it, uh, because either I so the reality is this. Now for the next so the reality is for the next so it's been 4 years since my conviction as a convicted felon. Okay. So what that means is that for the next 6 years of my life, I have to figure something out. Okay, but as a convicted felon, it is it has been for me a very very difficult opportunity to advance as a higher paying job anywhere else, to be taken legitimately in anywhere else. And so, fortunately for me, however, I can't even work as a custodian because the way that things are structured, they don't hire people like me. Even if I wanted to work as a custodian, which would be great because I'd be working and I don't have to. That's the introverted nature of me. That would be great if I can work as a custodian, but even a custodian job is not possible as a convicted felon, a grand theft convicted felon. So the option really is not there. I have to keep continuing this. And fortunate for me that I have this dishwashing job that is allowing me to keep working. It is it is something that is it's an opportunity that has given this is an opportunity which is I cannot find it anywhere else. Okay. So when I was in Florida, I interviewed with I told Walmart uh, when I had this conversation with them. I told them, look, I'm a convicted felon. They said, well, okay, bye. Essentially, that's how it works. Okay, and so then I interviewed with a company that inspects silicon wafers, and what they do is they use their each individual has to look at this through a microscope to see it. And so when I saw one of their employees with these glasses that were like Coke bottles, and I thought, wow, boy, I'm gonna ruin my eyes if I work there. So these are the things that are there. And so what I ended up doing is I moved back to Boise because it's my hometown. It is my hometown. This is where I grew up. And so fortunately for me, I'm a Catholic, and there is a Catholic deacon fortunately, who is the owner of a restaurant, and his family owns a restaurant, and they hire people all the time because they hire people like myself who cannot get a job anywhere else. And so I worked there, and fortunately, he used to have one restaurant, but he has two at the recommendation of this Guy Fieri of dives and drive-ins and spots on TV. And he came by and says, "Hey, why don't you open up another one?" Where I currently work on the second West Side Drive-In. And fortunate for me, the state of Idaho created a road that connects used to be blocked off from main thoroughway of the population that goes through this location, which allows it to be busy enough for me to be hired and be maintained. Fortunately for me, despite my severe lacking in personality and being so obtuse, unaware of things, that I am still employed there. And it's fortunate all these little things lined up for me to have that job. So I'm deeply thankful, okay, of this current situation that I'm in. So add to that, I'm using that as a foundation for me to spend my time developing into someone who's going to be profitable, so that at the end of this at the end of this development cycle, and to become fully practicing my occupation as a day trader on a consistently profitable day trader basis, then I can literally stand anywhere and say, "Hey, this is what I've done. This is the result. This is my track record for quite a while, right? That's it. That's my track record. This is what's happening. That's my track record." And so then there's legitimacy that's created. But for now, to the whole world, I am literally a buffoon. I'm a for the lack of a better word, I am a buffoon. Why am I a buffoon? Because after 4 years of fully working on it, failing over and over and over, failing over 200 platform challenges, spending every penny that I have, and every paycheck I spent on this thing trying to make it work for 4 years, and I'm still doing it. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. And to everybody else on this earth, when they look at me, I am a buffoon. Despite the fact that I am so fortunate they allow me to work as a dishwasher, because in their minds, they're thinking, boy, this guy will never figure it out. He's not smart enough. He's not going to be able to figure this out. There's no way. But for some reason, I'm still employed there. I am so fortunate that they allow me to work there. It's I mean, I'm just scratching my head. I'm just thankful. So I still work there. Even though, I mean, to them, this is, I heard from like professional day traders, this is, especially SMB, they said, look, these are the people that, I mean, the founder is presenting, it says, these are the people who work in this industry, and they are far advanced. They have data of the tools and techniques. They have speed. They have they have all the support in the world. They get psychological teachings from uh, what's his name? Brett Steenbacher. I mean, he's a world renowned psychiatrist who is also a trader. And so they have all these resources, and they are the cream of the crop that are on a consistent basis are able to win all the time. And I'm competing with them, trying to trying to trade in an area where I am severely handicapped. And so the lack of a better word, it is essentially, I am a basically a buffoon. A buffoon is somebody who really just keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. Another word is a fool, right? Essentially, that's what I am right now. I am, because I don't have any results, but I'm moving in a direction because now I see the light. I see the light. What I need to do is create consistency in my trading. I have to create that consistency. Somehow that actually finally entered into my reasoning capability to say, look, consistency is the most important thing in day trading. And for the past 4 years, what I have been doing is essentially trading. I get rewarded and I get emotionally attached to the situation, and I don't see it because I get confused because of what I'm doing. The market is moving that direction. And so I think it's working, but it's not working. As soon as the market changes and my thesis is still going in that direction, it essentially erodes whatever gain that I had, and it completely obliterates any psychological thing that I have. Essentially, that's what it is. So, to the whole world, I am a buffoon. And they know it because I lack the mental acuity to perform these things. I know it. The only way for me to take this very, very dim a brain of mine, focus it it focuses so intense that singular beam of light that is projected from this way below average mind, to focus it and concentrate on that narrow passageway to to getting into that consistently profitable portion to the area. So now I understand. After 4 years, now when I look at these trading books, I I could not understand anything about it. But now I can look at the table of contents and I have an idea what it is. Okay, there's one area that is still perplexing to me, like using Fibonacci, right? Using Fibonacci retracement kind of thing, right? So then I realized there are other things that I can look into. There are various things that I can now things are becoming more familiar, but it's still at a point where I cannot tell my boss and say, look, uh, I cannot tell him. I cannot tell him that I have finally broken through. I cannot tell him that yet. I cannot. I cannot tell the my employer. I cannot tell the employer that I have broken through. I cannot tell him that yet. I cannot. I don't have the data. I don't have the consistency. I don't have I don't have a consistently profitable track record that I can go to somebody and say, "Look, this is what I've done." I cannot do that. All I can do right now is say, "Hey, look, I tried for like 4 years. I'll tell you what, I've been fumbling for 4 years. I spent every penny that I have. You're right. I am a buffoon. I'm trying to go for it. I'm going for it." So I think what happens is it'll be flatline for a while, and then once that day comes, it'll go like this. It'll be parabolic, because as soon as I realize something, I'm going to be able to like take that consistency and leverage up, because I know the consistency I can leverage up. That's exactly like backtesting. When I backtest it and I look at it, and then after I did the backtesting, then I apply it for a little bit, then I realize, hey, it's working. Then I can take this parabolic action as moving forward, right? So, as God is my witness, I am so grateful for employment. I am. I truly am. God knows. Because I could, there's nobody in this whole world who hires convicted felons. I'm telling you. I've tried. When I disclose that fact, they say, oh, I have to contact the legal department. And then, end of it. That's it. So when the judge says, hey, why didn't you get a better job so you could pay off the restitution faster? Well, judge, you should already know that. In the United States, when somebody is convicted of a felon, prosecutors prosecutors wants to push it into the felony, not misdemeanor. Okay, misdemeanor is a lesser degree, but felony, the whole world knows how criminal that is. And so there is a there is a step above where an individual is placed in this condition. It is a social prison. It is a social prison that limits. It's like being shackled socially. That's what felony is. And so they know what it is. So they won't ask me, hey, why didn't you? Because I've tried. I've sent thousands and thousands of resumes. I even talked to people who I know. They can't help, right? That's the reality of what this felony is. I realized it when the judge asked me, hey, before the sentence, do you know what a felony is? I said, yeah, I have no idea. It takes a while. It takes a while to fully appreciate what that criminal conviction is. It limits you. It limits you in a way that will take your children away. It'll take your health away. It'll take your psychology away. It'll the only thing that is helping me is God. It is God. My last employer before they fired me says only God can help you get hired. And sure enough, he's right. Only through receiving Christ am I able to stay employed as a dishwasher. Without it, I mean, it could be worse. Right now, the job as a dishwasher, I'm so thankful. It pays for rent, it pays for challenges, it pays for books, it paid for the cell phone, it paid for those shoes. It's all due to these customers who enjoy fine cuisine, who know good cuisine, and they are there to eat good cuisine, the best cuisine. At the same time, what they're doing is they are helping somebody like myself. For without it, it could be it's essentially it's essentially dirt underneath the rug. That's it. It's like worm crawling on dry pavement as the sun comes up and heats it up and dries it up. Essentially, that's what it is. And I know it. I know it. And the fact that I'm in this situation, it could only be because I am a buffoon. It is called a buffoonery. I'm a buffoon. I know it. I don't have to look it up. I know what it means. I know what it means because I am. This buffoon is going to focus intensely. Focus the dim wit of my mind. To focus is so intense that I will make it work. And fortunately for me, God is allowing this to happen. I fell asleep multiple times, a couple times on the couch. But God was so kind that I told him, "Hey, okay, I'll stop that." And so I'm still here, right? So that's how it works. I'm still here. I'm internet internet at a office is is it is essential to developing into because because it helps me to access the world fast. But in a scenery when I'm in an apartment and the internet is shared by three different individuals and and is and the bandwidth is limited, it can be very taxing and it can cause trades to be undermined. And so that's how things are. Okay, so in order for me to progress and move in the right direction, yeah, look at that, it stopped out right there. It just stopped out. So in order for me to move in the right direction, I have to keep at it. Just have faith that whatever I'm doing is the right thing to do. Uh, because I'm not profitable, I'm not profitable right now. I am not profitable. I wish I was profitable right now, but I'm not profitable. I'm not even close to it. I I I want the whole world to know this because I want the whole world to know this fact. I am not consistently profitable yet. As God is my witness, I am not consistently profitable. See, I'm checking myself. I seem like I'm drunk or something, but I'm not drunk. I'm just coming to the realization. As a convicted felon, I'm not supposed to drink alcohol or things like that. So I don't. Okay? This is a clear mind that is essentially, it's essentially, I'm just clearly stating the fact right now. I don't want anybody, I want the whole world to know my current situation. After 4 years of this buffoonery, of trying to get this thing to work, but now it finally has dawned on me. I mean, think about this. It's something that is so obvious, but it just never hit me. I just never got it. I never figured it out. It's so, if I was like talking to somebody who knows what they're talking about, then it would make a lot of sense, right? Because they will convince you, they'll talk to you, they'll say, "Look, within a matter of a few days, I will figure out what I'm doing wrong." An individual who understands, an individual who understands, okay, an individual who understands and is a consistently profitable day trader, there could be a one-on-one dialogue to figure out what's really needed and what the path is to becoming a consistently profitable day trader. But for me, right now, working in this situation by myself with with information that I cannot exchange verbally to instill in the source where I am in my development, then this is a one-way communication. And because I have not developed into a consistently profitable day trader yet, I am unable to gauge where I am in the development process. So essentially, it is like a it is like a step. Okay, first it's the bottom, and then there's the top, and I have to take a leap to figure out where I am to become consistently profitable. But what is that thing that's going to help me get to that point? I don't know yet. So I have to I so now I realized that there is a something called consistency. Okay? There's this word called consistency. So consistency is something that is essentially the mother of all words. Okay? It is essentially something that is it is something that is drawn into, that is something, it's a focal point that allows me to uh, work off of. It's something that I can use to work off of and move into the direction where I feel, that I believe, and which is essentially, it is. It is essentially the path to me becoming a consistently profitable day trader. It is me. It is me knowing that that is, it's like, it seems to be like it seems to be like it seems to be like uh, it seems to be like there's people do this. What they do is they explore caves. It's a hobby. And so sometimes these caves will have an opening on one end and there's an opening at the other end. But in between there are mazes of what they have to go through. So what they have to do is they have to enter and go through, sometimes it could be a mile long uh in this cave, try to figure out how to get from point A to point B, which is B is the exit point. And they could get confused, but uh, there are individuals who have uh, first discovered how to go from point A to point B and created hints to get from point A to point B. Okay, so I wonder what it's called. Is it called spelunking or something? I'm not sure what it is. I think it's called spelunking or whatever it is. Cave. What is that? I think it's called like I think it's called like what is it? What is a cave? What is it? Like cave exploring hobby. What is that? Oh yeah, it is called spelunking. I was right. Caving, yeah. Oh yeah. It's called spelunking. It's called spelunking. Cave cave exploring is called the hobby of cave exploring is called spelunking. So so now I see the single word that's being dangled. There's a single word that is being dangled and dangled and dangled across the universe. So essentially, it is a I believe now with with I see I don't have a solution right now. I don't have a solution of being a consistently profitable day trader right now. I don't have the solution. I do not have the solution because I am as God. I believe in God as God as my witness. As God as my witness, I am not a consistently profitable day trader. Okay, there it is. Okay, how easy is that? I admit to the whole wide world that I am not a consistently profitable day trader. Okay, that's it. It's the truth. Because I'm telling you right now, I spent every penny. Now I have to wait a week and a half for the next paycheck for me to buy another trading platform challenge. I'm admitting it. I'm a buffoon. I'm telling you right now. It's true. I am not. I'm not smart. Okay? But it seems to me now, it seems so vivid now, is that there is this microscopic light that is beaming in my direction. Okay, I mean, just think about it. There's this Baptist pastor, and he was teaching me. He was walking me to introduce me to Jesus Christ. Okay, he's he's introducing Jesus Christ to me. We sat down in a room, and he told me this. He said, "You have no opening for bright ideas." He said that to me. I thought to myself, why did he say that? Okay, why? Why did he say that? Because I'm closed off. I'm clearly, I'm like fully closed off. I'm living in a bubble. Okay, so that's what it has been. Then after months and months of work of communicating for communicating together here and there and like green belts walking and discussing things, and then he led me to this point where we reconvened in that room where we're discussing about each of the steps that I am taking towards receiving Jesus Christ as my Savior. Then I asked him, so am I still fully closed minded? And he looked at me. He says, there is a slight opening. That's what he said. But it took months and months and months to develop that into. So now that small sliver of hope, that opening, is in alignment. It is now in alignment with that small singular word that has penetrated, because that because in the atmosphere there are photon particles that bombard, and we develop these caves underneath, miles and miles down underneath, or underneath huge miles of of iceberg caves to plant a instrument that blocks out all other signals, but these photon particles that penetrate through the atmosphere through miles and miles of earth crust. Essentially, when I look at my skin, it looks like it's full, but looking at it on a microscopic level, there are electrons and protons and neutrons, and there's a huge gap between them. And so within those, these neutrinos are whatever it is, particles, interstellar particles that have whizzed through everywhere, is squeezing through those spaces to enter miles and miles underneath the ground. Okay, into an instrument that measures and clocks how many there are, right? That's what it is. And so my buffoonery is a closed-minded current situation with a very small opening, which a man of God said that I do. Okay? The man of God said I do have a small opening now to receive our Lord Jesus Christ and other useful information, right? So I swear to God, I don't drink. I'm not under any substance at all. I just had a nice Burger King burger, so I must be like happy or something. I don't know. So now that I'm looking at this situation, and within that small infinitesimally small opening, okay, an opening, and this thing that I'm doing that nobody in the world is accepting of, because I have spent 4 years doing something that is so difficult for me. Others, I heard they do that in like, what, 6 months. They're able to become successful in 6 months. Okay? 6 months. And they're younger. They're far younger than I am. Okay? They're far. I'm 55 years old. I worked as an engineer and things like that. Okay? And yet, it is so difficult for me. But they, like 6 months, they're able to do that. So now I have a confirmed opening where I am able to receive wisdom from the outside world. And I've directed, it's like the Hubble telescope. I mean, it's a microscope. I heard from whatever this what is that? Apparently these are physicists, and they look out into the universe, and apparently these Hubble telescopes, and this other telescope looks at a single fine point, okay, and magnifies it. That's what they're saying. It's like a very thin strand of something far out there, millions and millions and millions and billions of miles away. Looking at that small little thing and microscope. I mean, it's like and using a telescope to enhance the image. That's currently what's happening with me. Because if I'm probably close to Forrest Gump in my thinking, okay? As God as I truly believe, I don't know how it it is God's divine intervention that has allowed me to be in this situation, this point, because I don't know how. I have no idea how I made it this far. I don't know. I don't know how I was able to have two kids. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. I just don't know how. I just don't know how. How does somebody like me? How does somebody like me have two children? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay. Forrest Gump has one, right? But I have two. I don't know how that happened, but I'm here. I am a buffoon. I mean, I have to. I mean, I mean, I'm at that stage now that I have this opening, okay, and this uh, finally pinpointed opening, which has been confirmed by the man of God. I have maneuvered it into a location where I can now receive. I had dialed it in. It's like a radio station. It's like a radio station, right? It's a radio station. I finally tune it. I finally tune it to the location where the wisdom of becoming a consistent profitable day trader is flooding in. Okay. And the first thing that I observe after accumulating the experiences and what people said that I'm slowly trickling in and processing it in my mind to understand the world of day trading and this flurry of information, which usually it turned out that when matter enters into Earth atmosphere, if it's not in a certain angle, it'll just bounce off and move somewhere else. Okay, so that's how it used to be, but now this opening has finally made contact. It's like alien has landed, just like Steven Spielberg movie, whatever it is, right? Whatever that movie's called, it has finally made contact with the outside world. Finally, the the antenna, the telescope of my mind has finally directed itself to the area where the right information, where the information has always been there, but now I have directed it so that I'm receiving it. I'm receiving the information that are coming in. It's coming in. It is it is it is entering into my consciousness. And that singular word that has finally tapped into my consciousness of of essentially essentially uh essentially essentially exploding the buffoonery that I had so far, that I have been I have been fully feeling it through emotion of that buffoonery that I had is finally being erased away. And that single word is called consistency. It's consistency. It's called consistency. Yeah, it's called consistency. I cannot repeat it more so because it ties everything together. It is, it, consistency ties everything together like a stop loss. It, of course, I just made a demo trade, and what it did was it knocked out my it knocked down to my support. I mean, uh, stop loss and went right back up, essentially, right? So I didn't have my stop loss set right. Okay, obviously, right? So I'm currently inconsistent in that as well. But the reality is consistency. Okay, right? It's called consistency, and I'm like, how long has this been? It's 43 minutes. It's been 43 minutes and I'm still like discussing this. I mean, it's like it's 12:07. It's Thursday now. It's 8 August 22nd. And I'm at a point where I'm discovering this word called consistency. And why did this guy who created multiple eight-figure traders say that the first rule, second rule, and third rule is consistency? Why would he say that? Why? Why would somebody who who is a multi-million dollar trader, right? Probably, and also cr- found uh, created a proprietary trading firm. Okay, all right. Somebody and that makes generates millions and millions of dollars from the members that are there, and by their own right, who are on Twitter. One of them, Steve Spencer, who I mean makes millions, and he says something about his wife spent $1 million decorating his new house or something, whatever it is, right? So they're in that capacity, and this individual in front of highly proven individuals in front of them, he's saying what is the rule number one, what is the rule number two, and what is the rule number three, and it's all consistency. It's called consistency. All right? It's called consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Now, what does that mean now? Now, this is the hard part uh, I need to, I need to delve into. It is something that I need to discover and become fully immersed in this concept called consistency. What is this consistency called? What is this consistency? Why is he making it so significant? Why is he why did he say that that is the most important thing? Why did he say that? Why is it the number one rule? Why? Why did he say that? Why did somebody who is so credible, who who knows so much about trading, why would he say that? Because it is, and why has it finally this narrow opening in me has directed that narrow opening to dial in to what he said about it was like I suppose it's like I suppose it's like searching the universe within from Earth. Okay, it could take eons and millions of years to pinpoint to a singular location because essentially because the distance is so far that taking a satellite, taking a telescope, and then training onto a particular location, it could angle infinite. It's an infinite amount of direction of looking at it because if I take a single spot and magnify it, then that single point has an infinite that single has an infinite magnification that's possible for that area, and it keeps it keeps magnifying, and it keeps magnifying infinitely to find that critical signature of another life in another area. It could take eons. Okay, it could take forever with a single telescope. Okay, so to discover this, pinpoint and receive a message from to receive this message of importance from another source to me took 4 years of lots of buffoonery to get to this point and to finally realize how important how important how important it is, this thing called consistency. It is something called consistency. It's called consistency. And how do I get to make it consistent? So, how do I get there? I get there by doing back testing. That's the only way. Okay, that's the only way. How do I get consistent? It's the only way is to prove it out. I have to prove it out as much as possible. Because if I have a specific idea, then I execute it. I execute it multiple times, 1,000 times, and see what the win to loss ratio is. When the win to loss ratio fits into a certain percentage of 70%, okay, for instance, of this specific idea, then that's consistent. That's consistency because I already know what it is for that consistent idea. And as long as I'm executing that with a psychologically sound presence to this trading idea that I have, then I develop into a consistent way of trading. And that consistency is also employing as much information that is relevant to fine tuning, focusing on that idea to make it real, to make it more legitimate. That is called consistency. And applying a specific technique to a specific scenario in how the data develops is also called consistency. Okay? That is consistency. Deviating from these rules that I've created that fits into the backtesting is counter to being a consistently profitable day trader. Okay? So that's what it is. And I have been gambling. I have been gambling. I don't know how long I will be able to I will say this, but it seems to me that this thing called gambling is something that is done, if not done consistently. That's how it works. As long as I have not proven as long as I have not proven, then it is everything is just gambling. It's gambling on a month by month by month by month by year by year by year. I'm consistently taking money out of the market. Then that is called consistency. Whatever I'm doing to employ these ideas to form a concrete solution, once that is found, then that's called consistency. But all others is called gambling. So if there's a pyramid. In Las Vegas, there's a building that looks like a pyramid. But on top of it, there's a little area where the light shines out. So it's essentially these people who are the 1% of the trading world are consistent. The rest of us are holding up all these individuals, holding these up. I am probably at the bottom where the buffoons are, who's holding up the whole structure, hold the pyramid. Okay? That's currently where I am. I know it, and even if I know it, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I'm going to keep trying it. Okay? As long as God allows this, and now that I moved into another apartment, I can get a few hours of sleep. Okay? Out of the goodness of the individual, the goodness of the people who the owner of the house on the previous house, there was kind enough for me to stay there, and I am greatly thankful. And the thing is, I put so much chemicals in the room that I could not survive in there. But somehow these bed bugs are able to survive in there. Okay, here's what happened. I was moving, and then I lifted up the bedspread, and there were like two little bed bugs in there. And my eyesight isn't very good because these glasses are like, how old are these glasses? These are like 15-year-old glasses, I think. I need to get these replaced. How old are these glasses? Yeah, it's very old. Wow, I have no idea. Anyway, and it's made of plastic, so I need to replace these. So I'm looking at it, and it goes, "Oh, are those bed bugs?" And I'm like, I put my finger on it, I rubbed on it, they moved. And sure enough, when I took my glass and looked at it, yeah, they're bed bugs. And so, out of all these chemicals that I placed in there, so what's happening is that somewhere outside of this room, they're being incubated. They're being so outside of that room, somewhere in the house or outside of the house, these bed bugs are being created, and they fan out into an area where I have chemically treated it with like fog, right? And all these sprays, but they're still alive there. And so every time I lay there, they chew on me. They just like drain my blood. So I am greatly thankful. Now I'm at a so they have this bed that they have now, which has metal posts. And so that means that it will be very difficult if there is uh, any residue of bed bugs to climb above to go get to where I am, because there are essentially metal posts, and maybe I'll put something on there so it's too slick. I don't know. But thankfully, it's a bit more expensive, but that's the reality of the situation, right? And so I am thankful that I'm able to afford a place to live, and be able to afford this fast internet. And one day I will break free from this buffoonery. To I keep using that word. It was a bit uncomfortable, but I keep using that word, right? It's buffoonery. It's foolishness. It's buffoonery. What I have been doing for the past 4 years is essentially a buffoonery. I'm trying to take this. half-baked idea, applying it to the market where the market is intensely intelligent. They are intensely intelligent. Okay. Oh my, wow, look at that. Had I had the stop loss a little bit lower, that would have been, it would have hit my target right there. Wow. Oh yeah, it would have. Yep. So this is something that I need to be more consistent. I need to be aware of what the situation is so that I can treat it properly, right? And so now I realize how important now I realize how important it is. Now I do. I do know how important it is now of working towards consistency. And and this buffoonery will keep popping up. It does. It does. Okay, fortunately, this buffoonery doesn't pop up when I'm like I used to be a smoker. I smoked cigarette for 10 years, and I finally stopped smoking cigarettes. Okay, what it does is it it has many problems. It adds many problems to life. It causes the body to deteriorate uh, faster in many respects. Health health deteriorates with heavy smoking. It's think about it. It's just like there's free air, oxygen exchanging with healthy lungs. But what smoking does is it clouds it with carcinogenic air. It restricts air into the body. Okay, right? It's like trying to breathe underwater, right? That's for fishes. So now I'm at this point where this buffoonery, I'm 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 aware. Now the tricky part is trying to fix this buffoonery. Now that I know what my objective is, it's called consistency. I have to become consistent. Okay, I have to become consistent, which means that when I see the setup, I can enter at any position, any point. When I okay, so there are three things that occurs. Okay, there are essentially there are essentially there are essentially three types of movements in the market. Really, it's range bound. Okay, that's one. It's trending up or it's trending down. There are three types. There's three main types of movements. So at any given moment, like any given Sunday, right? At any moment, that singular point is part of a setup that is about to unfold. It really is. It could be going sideways. It could be just it could be moving. It could be part of the upward movement. And and within that upward movement, it could be at the bottom portion of it, or it could be the end of it, or it could have finished and it could be starting something new. It could be, or it could be starting a downtrend, and it could be at the beginning or the tail end, or it could be the start of a trading range. That's essentially what it is. At any given moment, when I look at this situation, that singular point is part of a setup that is being developed. Essentially, that's what it is. Or it could be becoming a fully developed setup. It could be the tail end of it. It could be the 1% point where it already started and it's at currently at 1%. Or it could be at the end of it of the 99% of the current setup that is viewable. Or it could be 50% of a setup that is being developed as part of taking that piece of it and clumping together and making it into a new setup. So at any moment when I look at it, I should be able to see that it is currently a setup of this, or it is partial setup of something else. So when I look at the situation, it is currently on the UJ USD JPY. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this development here. So what I'm looking at it actually had a dip, a sideways, and move up. So essentially that singular moment of in time has created a downtrend. It created a trending range, and then it had a breakout and went into an uptrend at point where it reached a equal point from the left side. Now it has developed into a trading range. So there are three things that I have created it. So now it is part looking like a trading range, but it is also dipping as well. So there could be two possibilities of what could be happening just by looking at this. It could be in a downtrend to to touch the bottom of where the range bound situation was between those the up downtrending and uptrending, right? So that's the reality of what consistency is. Why am I doing this? Why am I talking about it? I'm talking about it. Now I'm up. I'm like I'm looking at it because it is. I need to verbalize what I'm doing so that I can communicate with myself and to confirm that whatever I'm doing on a verbal level, understand what the situation is. And I become consistent, when I become consistent, when I become consistent, I should be able to essentially break out as well. But I had to make this video because I won't be paid for another week and a half. As I am so thankful that I was able to work today. Okay. I am so thankful. I am so thankful that I have a dishwashing job. That I can work as a dishwasher and I get paid for it. It's I so there's this Catholic deacon who owns it. And I told him, hey, I told him thank you, and he says, I know, but thank God. Okay, thank God, thank God. Yeah, truly, thank God, thank God. I am so fortunate. Thank God that that I can sit here and trade and figure out how I can how I can evolve, how I can develop into a new person who's going to be who's going to be who will eventually one day. I have plans. I have a lot of things I want to do. Then I want to share it. I want to record it on YouTube. I have this is a very very difficult journey, but at the end of it, I already thought about what I'm going to do. There are a few things that are already have been thought out that I will do once I get to that point. Okay. I have a few things in mind that will make, for me, an excellent content on YouTube. Okay. So I have those things that are essentially motivating me aside from, aside from achieving something I set out to do. That's one. Okay. I won't discuss it because I have to get there first. Once I get there, once I get there, it'll be exciting. It'll be fantastic. It'll be great. Okay? So that's where I am, but I know now it's called consistency. I have to build something that is consistent. I have to provide a solution, which I see over here. I've already tested this out. I've already tested it out. I knew in the back of my mind, I knew that the stop loss was too close right here. So that's something that I need to closely understand. I have to understand it. Okay. So I have to understand why did this pop up instead of moving down? Okay. Why did it do that? What would cause it to do that? Okay. So that's something that I need to look into and develop and so that I can use it next time. Okay, perhaps it is something to do with I'm looking at a 5 minute. So I'm looking at the situation. Yeah, that's how things are. And I thought that's what it was going to do, and now it's doing it. So so there are so I'm making progress little by little. I'm just trying to figure out whether I should call it spelunking or call it buffoonery for this video.